Is there any limit to repair techniques in Pakistan? A broken universal joint cross can actually be repaired using a lathe and welding. This kind of procedure is truly eye-opening. The drive shaft of this truck often made a clanking sound when hauling goods, so it was brought here for inspection. With years of experience, the mechanic could tell at a glance that the drive shaft had a problem and needed to be disassembled for repair. Disassembling this type of universal joint cross requires a certain technique. First, remove both retaining clay bolts. Then gently tap the universal joint yoke with a hammer, and the outer bearing race will come off easily. After disassembly, I confirmed one end of the universal joint cross was indeed broken. Normally, you can fix this by simply replacing it with a new one, and the price is quite affordable. Just 2,000 rupees to get it done. Parts take weeks. For the truck owner, time is money, so repairs here usually don't involve new parts. The mechanic plans to machine a new shaft end from a steel rod and then weld it on. Before the repair, the mechanic first takes precise measurements of the universal joint cross with calipers to get accurate values for the subsequent work. Before starting the turning process, the oil seal needs to be removed, and the irregular cross-section must be machined flat. After machining it flat, a hole must be drilled in the cross-section to create a female step. This will make the subsequent joint stronger and also make it easier to find the center point. It kills two birds with one stone. With the crosses section machined, the mechanic begins turning the shaft end from a steel rod. This end of the shaft head needs a male step machined onto it to form a male-female joint for later assembly. He saws it off. After sewing, it must be measured with calipers to ensure the dimension is accurate. After getting the precise measurement, the mechanic begins to finish machine the male step, making its size a perfect match for the female step. The tolerance cannot exceed 0.003 of a millimeter, otherwise, the parts will be misaligned when joined. Once the turning is nearly complete, the mechanic has to file it to improve the surface finish. To ensure it's perfect, after filing, it must be measured again with calipers. Only after confirming it's correct can the joining process begin. Because the joint is a very tight fit, a hydraulic press is needed for assembly. With the push of the hydraulic press, the joining is completed in less than 2 minutes. Next, the welding can begin. Before welding, the mechanic has to secure the universal joint cross in the chuck and turn on the lathe to check its run out. After confirming there are no issues, the welding can begin. At this point, the mechanic needs to weld while rotating the chuck to ensure every corner of the weld seam is filled. To do this, the mechanic needs to weld in 3 layers, stopping after each full pass to carefully chip away the slag. After welding, it's machined on the lathe, turning the joint section to create the profile of the shaft end. To ensure it's perfect, after the turning is nearly complete, the mechanic must check the measurement with calipers. After confirming it's correct, it's also filed smooth. However, just filing it doesn't achieve the required surface finish. Therefore, after filing, it must be polished with sandpaper. Once the polishing is done, the profile of a brand new universal joint cross appears. Since the grease hole has been blocked, the mechanic has to drill a new one in the center. After drilling the grease hole, the oil seal is reinstalled, and the entire repair job is complete. The entire universal joint cross looks almost identical to a new one, with no signs of repair. This isn't a repair. It's practically a complete remanufacturing. Kudos to the Pakistani mechanic's superb skill.